Good. All right.
It's 1st of September, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Hey, thank you, Lou. As Lou mentioned, this is Rabbi Stolberts here in Yeshiva Samadash for you, Shloim to Zoom. In the first year this morning, learning the Maral on the Prague is giving us insights into why and how the Klal Yisrael had to be subjugated at the hand of the Egyptians and its connection to Avram Avinu. Okay, so let's put this on the screen. Document. Okay. There we are. Yeah, I think we're gonna restart. We're gonna uh paragraph 10 if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That's what I have.
Good. Okay. Very good. So yeah, Rav Meir or Rav Lou, who would like to read to begin with?
I will.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead. All right.
Okay, let me just get situated here. Ve'ein hachataim shvuim.
So, shoving. Sins are not equal. You should realize sins, there are different types and levels of sins.
Sins are not equal. Ki hachet asher hu b'mikra la'adam. Since there is a kind of a hate, kind of a sin that is an accident of a person. Eno,
Meaning, we said it's incidental. It's incidental to the person.
incidental. I had accidental.
No, because that's how I originally understood it. But then with the explanation further on, we understood it to be incidental instead of accidental.
Incidental instead of accidental. Okay, so there is a situation where a person does a sin that is incidental to him. Eno shekol kamo hachet asher hu be'etzem la'adam. And that is not the same as a sin that is essential, that is based on the essence of the person. It's not incidental. It's the opposite of incidental.
Very good. Right.
Ubezeh ar chanu v'mala v'ma shekhet Yisrael roy lekapra v'lislicha. And with this, we elaborated above about a sin of Israel that is appropriate to atonement and forgiveness.
Right. Meaning based on this understanding that there are sins which are incidental to a person, and the sins which stem from the essence of the person. So based on that, we can understand that through what sin Klal Yisrael is fit for a kapara and a slicha, a atonement and a pardon.
Va'avor etzem roim haim litaher ule niki us min hachet. Because that the essence is appropriate for them to purify and to cleanse, to become purified and to become cleansed from the sin.
Right, because for Klal Yisrael, in essence they are in essence for Klal Yisrael it's befitting that they are pure and clean from from sin.
Ulekach liYisrael hachet mikre
Mikre lechem. Therefore, for Klal Yisrael, a chet is called incidental for them.
every het.
Yeah. In general, chetoim sins are really considered to be incidental to Klal Yisrael. They're not considered to be part of Klal Yisrael, right?
So how can it say that we got to the 49th level of Tuma?
No, that was before we were really Klal Yisrael. That was before we became a nation. That was the beginning of when we were still in developmental stages.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing, but I imagine this is referring to Klal Yisrael after Matan Torah. I mean, it could still apply to some extent when we had the source of our spiritual purity based on Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, and Yaakov Avinu, but it wouldn't apply to the same extent as it was after Matan Torah. I mean that you see from the very fact that only 1/5 of Klal Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim, right? So you see that there were a vast majority of people who were not on this level, in spite of the fact that we had a spiritual purity based on the Avos.
Right, but even after Matan Torah, the golden calf was after Matan Torah, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, number one, that in general, that's attributed to the Erev Rav, number one. Right? Klal Yisrael's involvement in that was not to the extent it was the Erev Rav. And again, even if you'll to say that we're not saying that it's not possible that Klal Yisrael, either collectively or individually, are free from sin. The only thing we're saying here is when you see that there is sin amongst Klal Yisrael, it's something which is incidental to them. It's not their essence that they're sinners.
But
that's why it's possible tshuva.
But why are we punished so severely if it's incidental?
No, that's going to be dealt with. That's going to be dealt with in the next, toward the end of this paragraph, if I'm not mistaken, in the next paragraph, that the fact that he said over here previously, one second. One second. One second. One second. Yeah, he's gonna let's continue. He's gonna follow up on this point. Hold on.
Okay. Ula omos hachet atzmi lahem. And the Omos is the nation.
The almost that by the almost are those are the rest of the nations, the non-Jews.
By the non-Jewish nations, sin is essential to them.
Right? It's part of the essence.
Ulefikach hachet asher hu be'etzem v'hu katan nachshav yoter v'yoter min hachet gadol shehu b'mikra. So therefore, the sin that is essential and
I hate which stems from the essence of a person or a people, right? If there's a het which is stemming from the essence of them,
it's small.
yeah, even if it's small, but if it stems from the essence of them,
Nechshav is their thought.
no, it's considered
Considered more and more from a great sin, more and more of a great sin, that it is incidental.
right. You can have an apparent small sin, but if it's from the essence of a person, with the essence of a people, it's going to be much more serious than a incidental sin, even though it may be relatively greater.
ועל זה יש rios.
Rayos, Harvey. There are many proofs to this.
Oh, Rios.
There are many proofs to this.
There are many proofs to this. Ve'ein kan mikomo. And they're not here.
Yeah, this is not the time. This is not the place to bring all the proofs.
All the proofs that even a little sin, if it's essential, is a very serious matter.
Right.
Ulechach el hachet. I'm sorry. Al titma im be'einayim be'einecha nir'eh hachet she'amru chachamim be'einecha kala bavur ki hate bishu rosh bishorosh who hate atzmo, and therefore the what is this?
Al titma from like when you see in a Tosas tema, al titma. Don't wonder.
Don't wonder if in your eyes it seems that the sin that they say that the Chachamim say, in your eyes it's light.
Right. Don't wonder if it seems in your eyes that there seems to be a sin which is minor, minor.
Because the sin is rooted in an essential sin. Why would it be light? If it's rooted in essential sin, I would think the opposite.
Um, Again, say your question again one more time, Lou.
Seems to be saying that don't be surprised that there's such a thing as a light sin, because it's still essential. And I'm saying I would think the opposite. I would think it's a light sin because it's incidental.
Well, I mean, it depends where the source of the sin is. See, that's what it says here. Don't therefore wonder if it seems in your eyes what the sin that the Chazal are talking about. Again, we're talking about the sins we're referring to here is what Avraham Avinu was somehow lacking in the expectations Hashem had for him in terms of the perfection of his emunah in a Kadosh Baruch Hu by either making an army from the Talmidei Chachamim or asking the question Bama Eda or not migayiring the potential converts he could have brought Tachas Shechina. So all these things in a certain way they're not serious sins. Let's say they're chet kala. But don't wonder, therefore, that these sins seem to be, the ones that the Chazal are mentioning, seem to be minor. But nevertheless, since it's a chet bishorish, hu chet atzmi, since it's a chet which is taking place at the root, meaning it's taking place by Avram Avinu, right? That makes it an essential, it's a sin which is in essence, which is much more serious, even if it's going to be a light sin, since it's going to be in a shorish, the root of Klal Yisrael, the origins of Klal Yisrael, since it's a sin which is take place in the origins of Klal Yisrael, it's going to be therefore very much more serious, even though in it itself would be considered to be light, minor. That's the analogy we brought that the fruits of the tree, right, are the extreme enhancements and perfection of what exists in the roots of the tree. Right, the roots of the tree are deep down in the ground, getting the nutrients and the moisture from the ground, and that's turned into sap, and the sap travels through the tree and finally to the branches, and it produces fruit, which is a completely exquisite, delectable transformation of that mud, which is existing at the stage of the roots. So therefore, if there's going to be some type of a interference with the process of the roots taking up the moisture and the nutrients from the soil, then that's going to affect the fruits very drastically. Even though it might be minor in terms of from what's taking place at the root, but in terms of what's going to the effect it's going to have, and finally in the outcome, it could be very serious. So therefore, sins were taking place at the stage of the source, the roots, meaning Avram Avinu, even though they may be independently on their own looked at as being very minor, but in terms of their effect on Klal Yisrael, they needed to have that 210 years of subjugation at the hands of the Egyptians to make correction for that. So that's what he's trying to answer. Don't think, well, these are such very minor things which are taking place, apparently. So why should there be such a terrible suffering at the hands of the Egyptians that we had to experience because of it? But since the answer is to that is because since it's taking place at the root, meaning the source of Klal Yisrael, of Avram Avinu, therefore it's very much more serious than if they simply were happening independently or in a different stage of development. You see that in terms of the many different things in the development of the fetus, for example. There are certain months where certain very serious changes have to take place. And at those times, if there's some interference at those times, it can be very serious. Whereas if those things would occur at a different stage of development, it wouldn't amount to too much.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, good. Very good. Now we can go to 11 then, Bezoshin. Oh, so now I think he's gonna now I think explain it a little bit in more detail.
Okay. Ukaser Chazal Roy Hagalus the Beveni Abraham. And so it was our sages found it fitting that there be a exile for the children of Abraham. Yat o ki e efshar ze rak mach seron be'etzem sheyesh b'shoresh shehu Abraham. And it's known that it's impossible. It's only possible.
You do a key e extra rock, but it's impossible. You were right for e extra. This is impossible.
Right, but what's the rock only?
Oh, so okay. So again, you do a key efsher zerak mimechasorin be'etzem sheish b'shorish shal rominu. I mean, kasher Chazal road goes b'minei avram. When Chazal started to look at the exile and the servitude of the children, the offspring of Abraham, it's Yidua ki efshar zerak mimechasorin be'etzem sheish b'shorish shal Abraham, meaning they understood that it was impossible that this gullus, meaning that which Klal Yisrael experienced at the hands of the Egyptians, those 210 years of terrible suffering in all kinds of ways, unimaginable. And as we saw the Rashi in Chumash, that Moshe Rabbeinu himself was wondering what could possibly be wrong with Klal Yisrael that they're deserving of such absolute terrible suffering at the hands of the Egyptians. What could possibly be wrong with them? Right? They weren't that bad after all. So as you do, it's known, therefore, it's impossible that this gullus could not come about only because of a chesorn be'etzem sheish b'shor shu Avraham. It was impossible that this suffering of gullus of the Klal Yisrael at the hands of the Egyptians could not come about except only through some type of deficiency in essence, which was the source of all Klal Yisrael, which was Avram Avinu.
So it's impossible that this gullus could come about unless there was a deficiency in Abraham.
Right, in the source, in their source. The only way this gullus could have come about is if there would have been some deficiency in their source, which was Avram Avinu, in the essence of this source. It had to be a deficiency in the essence of their source, who was Avram Avinu.
Umin hachet atzmi nimshach Devar zeh yeh chet katan o gadol. And from the sin, from the essence of the sin, What's nimshach?
It extends.
Extends the matter, this matter, of the sin, whether it's small or large.
Um, yeah, so okay, one second. So okay, so Minachet Atzmo Nimshak Darazeh, he katan or gadol, and from this hate, which is taking place in the essence of their source, which is Avram Avinu, then it'll extend the chet, whether it's a great chet or a small chet, right? Whether it's great or small, it'll extend. I just want to maybe emphasize the the point which is being made over here. Since Avram Avinu is the source of Klal Yisrael. So all those things that Avraham did, now we're focusing on the very effort, the very slight, ever so slight sin, which was some type of lack of perfection in Hashem's expectation of his faith that he should have had in Hashem. Because of that, we see that there was a tremendous suffering of these 210 years of slavery and subjugation for the Egyptians. But what's not being discussed is we also see it in the opposite, meaning all those things that were done by Avraham, which were good, right? All those 10 tests that Avraham passed, all the things that Avraham did, we inherit the spiritual potentials to perfect those things as well. Meaning the fact that Klal Yisrael are Bali Chasadim. We are people who are kind, but the essence of a Jew is that we're kind. We get that from Avraham Avinu. The essence of Klal Yisrael is that we believe in a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The essence of Klal Yisrael is that we're willing to be Moser Nefesh. We're willing to sacrifice for our belief and serving Kadosh Baruch Hu, our loyalty to Kadosh Baruch Hu. We get all those things and many, many more things because of our connection to our source, our origins, which were Avraham Avinu, and also to other extents, Yitzchak Avinu and Yaakov Avinu as well, right? So the fact that Klal Yisrael was zoichet to a Beis Hamikdash, right, and we were able to do all those things, and even to this day, where in almost 2,000 years of Gullus, we're still faithful to Klal Yisrael, is still faithful to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and loyal to Kadosh Baruch Hu after almost 2,000 years of exile. That potential for that to exist comes from our connection to Avinu, who's the source of our spiritual and also our physical existence. Okay.
All right. So the kasher b'chainu es wrote Evan Pina amdu al zeh ki haya bo davar chesron.
Oh, so okay, so he's explaining it by also by means of a little bit of an analogy. Kasher bachanu es rosh ha'evan pina amdu al zeh ki haya bo davar chesoron. Meaning, Avraham Avinu was the source, the Rosh Pina, the cornerstone. He was the cornerstone of Klal Yisrael. So just as if the cornerstone would be not set properly, right? That what might be a slight deficiency in the foundation of the cornerstone, that's going to affect the whole building. Right.
Okay. So,
V'zeki haya Avram Rosh Evan Pina. That Avram, he was the cornerstone for Klal Yisrael.
right. Um, uh, because there was in him a deficiency.
Right.
V'zeki haya Avraham Rosh Evan Pina v'yasod hakol v'hu nikra echad. And this, since Abraham was uh, the head cornerstone, and the foundation of all, and he is called one.
Right. Nika Echad. He's called meaning one, meaning I mean that's how we say it in English. It's called Echad, meaning um, um one means a little shenemar. Let's see he quotes a pasuk. The pasuk in Yeshaya.
Shinamar and Yeshaya, Habito El Avraham Avichem Va'al Shara I'm sorry, Tichulallechem Ki Echad Kar Asiv. Um, so what is Avito?
Okay, so I think we should really see the pasuk. I'm going to try. Let me see if I can find the pasuk for you. It's in Nun Aleph. Everyone has a Tanakh there. They have nearby Yeshaya, Habitu.
Shaya.
Habitu means literally means to take a look, to gaze intently at Avram Avinu, meaning look deeply into Avram Avinu, who and what he was.
Okay.
It's
Hi, Lou.
Bye bye. Have a good day.
Yeah, she stays till 11. We're leaving, Jane and I won't, we're not going together, but I'm going to be back about a little after 12.
Okay. Let's see.
that's in pasuk base, Perak Nun Aleph, pasuk base.
All right, of Yeshaya.
Right. You should Stackle, you should look carefully at Avram Avinu, your father, right?
Right.
With Sarah, and you should look into Sarah, Toholechem, who are your I'm not sure what that means, progenitors. They are your Hallelujah. Uh, yeah, who are your progenitors? They were the ones who brought you forth.
Right.
And Ki echad kuro oso.
They are called one.
Yeah, they might. I hear. Okay, very good. I think I think rather than say one is not the real intention. I think it's called they were unique. Unique is rather than one.
Ah,
They were singular, meaning they were exclusive. They were unique. That's that. I mean, echad means that also. It's something. He's an people. There's an expression. He's a echad bedoro. He's a one amongst the whole generation. He's meaning to say he's unique. He's exclusive. Something very extremely special about. So likewise with Avram and Sarah, there was something extremely special and unique about the both of them together.
so we're looking deeply to understand their uniqueness.
Yeah, well, that's it's like the Navi. The Navi is like commanding us to you if you want to get the most out of understanding who and what you are. The way to do that is to look back into your uh, unique forefathers and foremothers, right? Look to Avram Avinu and Sarah, and you'll be able to see many things which give rise to your potentials in emulating them. Seems to be what it means, right, Mary? You think so?
That's what it seems to be.
Okay.
V'chol davar shehu echad hu chaser v'tzarich hashlema v'ein chadus ki im hakadosh baruch hu shehu yachid ve'elav hashlemos b'li chesron, and all things that are unique that are lacking and you need perfection, and there is not unity, since with Hashem that He is unique, and concerning Him the perfection is without a lack.
Yeah, without any lack, right? Any deficiency, right? Kol davar shu echad hu chaser, anything which is unique and yet at the same time it's deficient, tzorach hashlam, it needs to be perfected. Ve'ein achdus, there's no oneness, perfect oneness, ki im lekadosh baruch hu, only except to a kadosh baruch hu, who yachid is one. Ve'elav shleimus bli chesron, and his perfection is without any flaw or any lack.
About ki sha'ar echad yesh bo chesron she'eno shel v'tzarich v'hashalem oso, but any other unique one, there is in it a flaw that it's not complete. And it needs to be completed.
Right. I mean, anything, only a Kadosh Baruch Hu possesses complete absolute perfection without any deficit whatsoever. But anything else, even though it might be unique, it is going to have some type of deficiency, and it's not going to be perfect, and therefore it needs to be reach a perfection. Needs to reach perfection. So as unique and perfect as Abraham was, as Sarah was, nevertheless they can't be absolutely completely perfect. Right. So therefore there needs to be some type of process by which the deficiency that existed by them would be somehow made up for, and they would reach the perfection somewhere during the continuation of their offspring.
So I'm a little confused about the process. How do you, it seems to be saying it's impossible to do it. And then it says, but go ahead and do it.
No, because no, in the person themselves, meaning, for example, what we're talking about now, Avram Avinu. So as great and as perfect he was, nevertheless, there has to be by almost by definition some deficiency. There was some deficiency, whatever it was, ever so slight. There's always going to be some deficiency. So he was as perfect as he possibly could be, but nevertheless, it was not a perfect perfection. It had a perfection of some deficiency. And therefore, since he couldn't himself reach a true perfection, so that perfection had to be realized through making up that deficiency in the things that his offspring would have to go through. His offspring, meaning Klal Yisrael, through the generations, the experiences of Klal Yisrael, those things would make up for whatever slight deficiencies existed in Avram Avinu. And therefore, we have the reason for the slavery that we had to experience at the hands of the Egyptians, because that was a part of the process of perfecting whatever deficiency existed in Avram Avinu.
I see. Riker?
Let's see. I guess it's probably good. It's a good time to stop. We will start. Okay, well, at 12, we will stop here. Good point to stop. Good. Okay, let's stop here. We're at 12 for tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Right,
Very
right.
good. Thank you for the reading. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with the Mishnah Berurah shortly, Mitzvah Shem.
Amen.
See you both soon.
See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.